I really hope you are ready to dive into the world of sewing, but I'm pretty sure you don't know how. Today I put together this video where I'm going to introduce you the basic tools, best practices, and the best techniques that are going to give a good start for you as a beginner. Don't try to get too complicated things done at the beginning because it's going to set you back. It's going to set a very bitter taste in your mouth. It's important to know exactly what you need in the beginning. Remember, you don't know what you don't know, but start with the basics and you will be successful. I just want you not to be afraid to start your sewing journey. And remember, every expert was once a beginner, and each project you complete will build your skills and confidence. Mistakes are just part of the process. I'm making mistakes every day, even today, and they help me learn and grow even more. But keep practicing, stay patient, and most importantly, enjoy the creative process and have fun with it. You've got this. What tools should you have in your beginner sewing kit? Starting with the right tools can save so much time and frustration and help you create cleaner and more polished projects, right? The first thing I would say you need is fabric scissors and snips. Invest in good fabric scissors if you can, and so this will be your go-to for cutting fabric cleanly. Also get small snips for cutting threads and doing finer work. Measuring tools is your second absolute necessary tool. A very reliable measuring tape, and I would add here maybe one or two as a backup. And of course a clear ruler set, and remember, precision is the key to great sewing. You need pins or sewing clips to hold fabric pieces together while you sew. And don't forget a magnetic pin cushion to keep those pins organized. Get yourself organized from the beginning. It's going to be so much easier for you in a long run. Chalk or fabric marking pens help you mark seams, darts, or other details without actually damaging the fabric. Erasable or disappearing ink pens are beginner friendly, so don't be shy in grabbing few different colors to give yourself a greater rate of success. Of course, you're going to need an iron and an ironing board, and a good iron is your secret weapon for professional looking results. And of course, no one's perfect. A seam ripper is essential for undoing mistakes. Please grab one or two to have them handy. Trust me, you will make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, so keep it handy. It's a lifesaver. Choosing the right sewing machine. Let's talk about this a little bit. I don't know exactly what your needs are, but definitely you will need a sewing machine if you want to treat this as more of a passion, hobby, and move forward to maybe creating garments outside your home and create a business. There are so many options, but how do you pick the right one? So I would say in the beginning, if you don't think you're gonna have money for the long run, maybe just start simple. And as a beginner, you don't need a machine with every bell and whistle. Look for a basic, reliable sewing machine, read reviews, but make sure you have at least straight stitch, zigzag stitch, and few buttonhole options, or maybe a couple of extra stitches on top of that. My top recommendations are models like Brother SE400, which you probably notice in every single video I post. It's my absolutely to-go sewing machine. I also have other sewing machine like a Juki 8500. I am not using it that much. It's an industrial straight stitch sewing machine, but I am so in love with Brother SE400. Has everything I need and more. And of course, they're also user-friendly and very affordable. There's also one way to look at them. There is the mechanical sewing machine, and it's also the computerized sewing machine. The mechanical machines are great for beginners because they are so simple and of course often more durable. However, also consider the computerized sewing machines can make stitching a lot easier with automatic settings. And of course, in the end of the day, has to come to how much you want to spend and how comfortable you are with using technology. Do you need a serger in the beginning? A serger, it's fantastic for professional finishes, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary when you're just starting. Next, let's talk about fabric. What are the best fabrics for beginners? Picking the fabric can make or break your sewing experience as a beginner, and I can tell you that when I first started, right after I purchased my sewing machine, if not just at the same time, I went ahead and purchased a couple of yards of cotton fabric. In my opinion, from my own experience, cotton is hands down the best fabric to start with because I think it's the easiest one to control, doesn't stretch, and it presses beautifully. So it's very encouraging when you have your first seams done and you press them down and you look at it and you say, this is actually not that hard. So start with cotton when making simple projects like pillowcases or tote bags. Another good one, in my opinion, it's linen, and it's a very good fabric for beginner because it's so easy to handle and to sew. So just be aware that it wrinkles a lot easier. I personally don't wear as much of linen. Broadcloth or muslin. Of course, you heard this before because muslin is first of all very good for practicing because it's so inexpensive. I still think it's within $2 to $3 per yard. It's lightweight as well, and it makes ideal for test runs or practicing your stitches. So if you don't want to invest too much money in a random piece of cotton, or you feel like you don't want to waste that particular fabric in trying, just find muslin at the fabric store, grab a couple of yards, bring it home and practice stitches, how to understand the stitches, the thickness, the length, the width, and all those things. Practice multiple type of stitches and understand how to make your sewing machine your best friend. Commercial patterns versus draping. What should you start with? Very good question. Should you start with commercial patterns or learn to drape your own designs? For beginners, I always recommend starting with commercial patterns. But in saying that, I personally never did. If you've watched any of my videos before, I told my story many times. I loved sewing. I loved and dreamed about creating my own clothes and creating clothes for other people from a very young age. I just didn't have the chance to do it. Finally, about 12 years ago, I decided to pay attention to my passion. I was also lucky enough to be able to do so. And so I decided to go to purchase myself a sewing machine, couple of fabrics, couple of threads, and not understanding exactly how I'm going to create something that I'm going to be able to wear and fit me. I went to the thrift store and I end up purchasing a bunch of clothing, a bunch of blouses and tops with different fabric manipulation, different cuts, different type of sleeves, different type of neckline, and different type of darts. I deconstruct them and then I recreate those patterns in multiple ways, multiple fabrics, and understood exactly each single one, how to control the fabric, how to move darts around, how to scale. So I progressively challenged myself in recreating garments that I found at the thrift store. They were even in a bigger size than what I was, and learn how to scale that to my own size. So this is how I started. But if you are not able to start this way, I strongly encourage you to start by commercial patterns. Learn by commercial patterns. They come with instructions and templates, so they are great for learning construction techniques. You should look for the beginner-friendly patterns labeled easy or quick sew, because that's what you should start with to avoid and eliminate the frustrations and the setbacks. Learning to drape, of course, it's one of my absolute favorite way of learning, because draping on a dress form, it's a fantastic skill, but of course it's a little bit more advanced. And sometimes you could waste a lot of fabric if you skip a couple of steps like commercial patterns or understanding construction in a different way and you jump straight into learning how to drape. Sometimes could go wrong, especially if you have fabric on bias. It could misbehave, so be careful with that. But once you've mastered the basics, you can absolutely start experimenting with your own designs with any type of fabrics and any type of cuts. So if you're ready to dive into the world of sewing, remember, start simple, practice consistently, and don't rush the learning process, because it's going to give you a lot of disappointments and it's going to set you back. But with the right tools, links for tools in the description below, fabrics and techniques, you will be able to create some amazing things in no time, and that's going to be so encouraging and so motivating for you. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a tutorial. Let me know in the comments what's the first project you are excited to make, and maybe send me a picture of it. Let's discuss. Let's talk about it. Happy sewing, and remember, with every stitch you are mastering a skill that can be lasting you a lifetime. And so, see you next time.